Hello and welcome to another episode of Toothless MMA Radio Series Quick Hitters. I'll be your host, John Galloway, and today, as we look at the world of combat sports, I'll be joined by my host, Amanda Bobby Cooper. Amanda, John Galloway, Toothless MMA, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks for asking. So Amanda, we're going to be talking about some combat sports today other than MMA. You have a boxing match coming up pretty soon. Why don't you tell us about that?
I'm fighting August 15th in Royal Oak, Michigan. I'm actually from Michigan, so I get to fight close to my hometown where my friends and family get to see me fight. I started with boxing when I was 10 years old, so it's cool that I can still continue to do it through the pros. And I like to just do boxing, pro boxing, to stay in shape, for MMA and just keep going. And if I don't have a fight coming up soon, I like to take a pro boxing fight. So I'm always training hard. Now my opponent is Tiana Barber, and she's from Toledo. So she's going to come in, and obviously, we're going to throw down. We got 4 rounds, and I hopefully can end it before the end of the 4th.
So you've been boxing since the age of 10, you said. How did you get into that?
My dad actually got my 2 older sisters into it, and they played sports in high school. During the off season, he didn't want them to get out of shape. So he took them up to the boxing gym just to keep them in shape and work hard. And obviously just for some, defense. And he had boxed all growing up too, so he loves the sport. And then I started tagging along shortly after, and then I took my first fight at age 11.
Wow. So how did this morph into your current MMA career as well?
I've been just doing boxing all through high school and getting pretty far with it, winning Golden Gloves and going on to nationals, and it just kind of kept getting a little bit boring, and the same fights, same shows, the same girls I had to fight. There wasn't like that adrenaline, that like pump anymore. My dad mentioned MMA one time, wanted me to just do one fight. He didn't want me to keep doing it, but he wanted me to do one fight just to see how I do. And I told him at first I didn't like the idea, but by the end of the night I told him that I wanted to try it. And he actually called me the next day and told me he scheduled me an MMA fight in 2 weeks. So I just kind of did the MMA fight, won it, did another one, won it. Just started training the boxing. And then my third fight I lost in a split decision. And I started looking around to different MMA academies around the state. And now, gym I'm at now, Scorpion Parties and stuff.
All right, so with your MMA career, that's taken off for you. You've recently been signed by Invicta Fighting Championships. How is that working out?
It's wonderful. I started when I first started doing MMA, first started watching Invicta. It was my dream. Me and my boyfriend, who was my coach, he used to say, like, one day, what if you were on there? What if you were fighting for them? And I would be like, oh, no way, that's too crazy. That'll never happen. And then I just kept getting better and fighting more, and it started to become more of, more reality. And then, when I got the call, it was overwhelming, but it's definitely where I want to be. And I'm honored that Invicta signed me, and just makes it, all worth the while, all the hard training.
Now, what does it mean for you and the other girls at Invicta that they've signed this deal with the UFC and the Fight Pass, so that way your fights are going to become more visible to the mainstream MMA fans? What's the reaction been like through the Invicta family?
It's pretty crazy. I went from being at local MMA shows in Michigan with a couple, maybe 1,000 people there, and then I fought for King of the Cage with a couple thousand. And now I'm going to be fighting on UFC Fight Pass or Invicta, and there's going to be a couple million people watching. So it's definitely a big leap for me with the fan base. But that's cool. I'm going to be fighting no matter what, and I'm going to fight my heart out no matter what. So the more people that can see that, the more people I can inspire, the more people I can touch, it'll be better for me.
Now, obviously, with the obvious things aside, the no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes, the no wrestling classes, how does training for a boxing match differ for you than it does if you have an MMA fight coming up?
I actually actually don't really just focus on the box. When I have a boxing match, maybe I'm wrong here, but I train just like I would for an MMA fight. I train,
Oh, okay.
like I don't like not train with wrestling. I train jiu-jitsu. I train everything just as hard if I had an MMA fight, because in the long run, like I care way more about MMA and I want to go farther in MMA. So I don't want to neglect my wrestling, neglect my jiu-jitsu. Actually, this whole last week I had Andrea Lee come up, which is a 3-time world champion in Muay Thai, and she just signed to XFC. She came and we did jiu-jitsu and wrestling and more sparring, kickboxing. We spar hard. I just have another girl. She came in yesterday and she's going to stay with me for another week to keep me training. She's from Wisconsin. I'm sorry, Minnesota. And so I, keep having different training partners come out here to train me like an MMA fight. But I don't train my hands just as much, so I don't really change anything when I have a boxing fight coming up, other than maybe more mid, the different times.
Right.
Per round, the amount of rounds I train, doing mids or sparring just boxing, but I still spar MMA and fight MMA and train MMA just as much.
Now, you mentioned that your boxing match coming up is 4 rounds. 4 3-minute rounds, is that correct?
No, actually it's 4 2-minute rounds, so I have to make quick work. Pro MMA is 5 rounds, so you have time, you can figure out your opponent, it's more of a game there, but 2 minutes in the pro boxing for women is come in, swing hard, anything can happen, so it'll be kind of interesting.
Now, that's a typical match, is 4 2-minute rounds?
Yeah, for women. In the beginning levels, yeah, and then it goes up to 6 rounds, 8 rounds,
Right. Now, what's the cardio drain that you feel during a boxing match compared to an MMA fight? Is there a difference? Do you feel like one wears you down more than the other?
Well, in MMA, obviously the wrestling and jiu-jitsu can tire a lot of people off. The grind, you have 5 minutes in your first round, and then it goes into more. But obviously, but there are times like you're on the wall, maybe you have underhooks, you're fighting for an underhook. There's some times you're on the ground, you can breathe a little bit. In boxing, the 2-minute rounds is like you go in the wild 2 minutes, and hopefully you won the round. But that's the problem with what I was facing my last pro boxing matches. I'm used to longer rounds in MMA, so I'm kind of slowing it down, figuring out my pace, figuring out the other girl's pace,
right,
setting things up. But by the end of the fight, I'm like, oh crap, I should have went a whole lot harder because I'm not even tired. So luckily, I learned that my last fight. In this fight, I've been throwing a lot more punches in the 2 minutes that I have, so I can get the finish.
Now, what do you know about your upcoming opponent? What kind of study do you do on her?
And boxing is kind of hard. They don't really have video of everyone. You can look them up on BoxRec and just figure out their, last opponents or, what their record is. But they don't really do video too much. So you kind of just, and I mean, I like it because that way not a whole lot of people can back out of a fight. They don't know what you look like. They have to fight you no matter what. You're the same weight.
Right.
You got similar records. So you just fight, which I like. But I don't know a whole lot about her because I can't find. There's no video and not a lot of information. All I do is know she's from Toledo, and she fought a girl that I fought in the past. It was very credentialed and very good, so it seems like a good matchup for me.
Now, will you look at that, a common opponent that you've both faced in the past, and kind of gauge, come up with a game plan based on that?
Yeah, because, I mean, obviously every fighter is different, so matchups don't work for other people.
Right.
I beat the girl that I'm fighting. The girl that we both fought, I beat her and she beat her. So that it doesn't. I mean, it's good to know that I beat someone that already beat her.
Right.
But then again, you just don't know. Styles match up differently. The girl I fought was like 5'9", tall girl. And this girl that I'm fighting now is more closer to my height. So that's good for me. But I mean, you just never know. She could be a short brawler that comes in hard, which I'm not used to. I'm used to fighting taller girls.
Sure.
So just, I mean, it is nice knowing that I have that advantage that I, maybe got that, and then in the girl's head that I'm fighting that she had already lost to a girl that I beat. So it's, a refreshing feeling knowing that, I have that, but you never know with styles. They fight the fight. It could have a bad day or mental.
Right. Now, when you box, do you fight at the same weight that you fight MMA in?
No, my last boxing matches have been a little heavier than my normal fighting weight for MMA, just because women boxers don't really cut weight.
Okay.
And so I don't feel like I need that advantage. In MMA, everyone cuts a lot of weight, so I need every advantage I can have. In boxing, pretty much, maybe they cut 5 pounds, but not much. So I usually do the weight that I'm walking around at.
Okay.
This time I'm doing a little bit more of a cut, but it's not a big cut. It's not too bad. So just keeps me eating right, so my body feels good anyway. So I usually fight MMA at 125, and I'm fighting this fight at 130. So just a 5 pounds difference, which is a lot for me because that 5 pounds when I get to 25, I don't want my cardio to go down. So it's easy. I don't have to cut that much weight for this fight.
Right. Now, where is this fight going to be televised? Is it going to be someplace that people can see, or do they have to be there to see it?
Yeah, you have to be there. I have saw a couple of times for ESPN Friday Night Fight.
Sure.
Hoping to be on the card, but this one isn't backed by ESPN this time. I will get a tape and be able to put it online, but that's about all I can have. But it's nice that it's in my home state, not too far away from my family and friends. That I get to sell some tickets and put on a good show for them.
Now, does that add any pressure to you, having friends and family in the audience, and obviously you want to perform well in front of them? Does that play into your thought process when you're going into the fight?
No, just because I've had so much experience. I've taking my first fight at 11. I've had my friends and family at every show. It's almost weird not to.
Right.
I've just fought so many times, amateur boxing, pro boxing, amateur MMA, pro MMA. Like, I'm used to having my supporters there, and everyone likes to feel a certain way before they get in a fight.
Yeah.
Whether they're focused, or they listen to the right music to get some people have to get angry. Me, I have to be in a good mood. I have to be walking out with a smile on my face, feeling good. So I like to have my friends and family there, saying hi to everyone, knowing that everyone's there to support me no matter what. I have a really good support system. Plus, my coaches are always so helpful. I just have to walk in with a smile on my face, knowing that this is my life, and this is the life I want. I gotta go to some town and beat up some girl and get paid for it with my family there to watch what I do. So I like it. I really enjoy them there.
Nice. Can't complain about that too much, right? Now, going into any of your fights, you have sponsors that help you out along the way. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I have a lot of sponsors. I'm very thankful for all the people that help me. My PR manager, Jay General, he does a really good job. Anytime I have an issue, I tell him, and he gets on it, and he helps me so much. I've never had sponsors paying to be on my outfit for a boxing fight before. So he got me a few sponsors, MMA Roadhog. He got me Air Loop to be on my outfit, and he got me a couple others that are, wanting to get on a spot on my fight outfit. So, and also I got Ruffles with Love are sending me some shirts to walk out to. Before and after, they have these funny sayings on them, so I have a shirt for every occasion this week for that weekend. But I have a lot of sponsors that may not be always putting the money down to be on my fight outfit, but they're sending me things. They're always behind me. Tussle Fight Gear gives me gear for each training camp, along with Dragon Doe giving me gear. I never have to pay for a pair of boxing gloves or shin guards because Dragon Doe is on top of it.
Right.
But then I got Sozo Ignite, which gives me my coffee in the morning, which I need every day, and they give me a healthy energy drink, so I'm in between my training each day, my morning to my night. I got a lot of people there helping me, so I'm very thankful for everyone backing me.
Now, for the people, obviously, a lot of people that follow you aren't going to be able to make the fight, unfortunately. If they want to keep up and they want to see, how the fight went, they want to know when you have something else coming up, where can they follow you on social media? How can they keep in touch with you?
My Instagram and my Twitter are the same. It is ABC Nation 125, and I post a lot on there all the time. They can see pictures from the fighter, videos, or updates. And then obviously my Pro Fighter page on Facebook. It's Pro Fighter Amanda Bobby Cooper, and I post training stuff there.